And it's live. People, deluded. I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. Good morning. In fact, better yet, good afternoon. I hope you're all doing well and safe. I know there's a bunch of you that are watching from different time zones. So, I'd like to extend that good morning to a good evening, good afternoon, you know good night, depending on who you are, wherever you are. I always appreciate you guys, people. As you lot know, it's match day today. It's Arsenal versus Newcastle. We return to play them after obviously beating them in the FA Cup. So let's hope it's more of the same. And if you're going to be around, please make sure you check out the pinned message, people. I'll be doing a live watch along so you can hear my comments, opinions and whatnot in live time. Obviously, after that, we'll go into another live stream. So there's 3 live streams today for you lot, people. See the work I'm putting in? I know I didn't have one yesterday, and I see a lot of messages like, Deluded, where's the live stream? Where's the live stream? I was like, allow me, man. It's Sunday. I'm tuning off, but I still made sure I dropped stuff for you lot. You lot had the Arsenal versus Newcastle preview. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. Please make sure you've hit the subscribe button as well. It should be in your bottom right now, so it's even easier to just hit the subscribe button. Obviously, pinned message, open up another tab and make sure you're obviously there for the live watch along. Even if you're not, just hit the like button. It does a lot for me, man. Before we get into what we're here to speak about, I see a lot of you in the comments, people. One love to all of you lot active from early. Omar is in the building. Ryan has said, what did he do? And also, if he was disrespectful, why would he give Arsenal any respect after the way they treated him? My guy, we're going to get into it. You see, we've got a lot of excitement. We're going to get into it. And to be honest, the title is because of you lot, people. Really, you lot were like, what do you make of this Ozil to Fenerbahce thing? What do you make of this Ozil to Fenerbahce thing? Now, there's nothing I can make of it. I love Mesut Ozil as a footballer. It hasn't worked out with him and Arsenal the last few years. It has been an unhealthy marriage. So if you're in an unhealthy marriage, initially when you marry each other, you loved each other, but you've grown apart. Ozil's probably come to not love Arsenal. Arsenal have definitely come to not love Ozil. We've needed a divorce. Now, typically, a lot of marriages stay together for the kids. I don't know what the kids would be in this example, but sooner or later, we need to, both sides deserve happiness. So let's enjoy the 7.5 years we had with you, Mesut Ozil. I'm keen to see the fallout and everything that he said, but it is what it is, people. For me, 9 times out of 10, I'm happy that it's happened because there's no more Mesut Ozil, there's no more Ivan Gazidis, there's no more Arsene Wenger. There'll always be a new puppet and a new scapegoat. But for me, that drama is over. That unhealthy drama is over. And for me, it was a dangerous elephant in the room. You really can't it was complete madness. Take away what you feel about Mesut Ozil, but it's complete madness that your top goal scorer, man said top goal scorer, definitely not. To highest earner, apologies, is barely in the match day squad, hasn't played since March last year or something like that. It's baffling, and there's only so much sporting reasons you can give us. They're never going to tell us the truth. Personally, I'm waiting on Mesut Ozil's book because I know Arsene Wenger didn't free it up in his book. So it is what it is in that regards, people. We're going to get into it. I know a lot of you have been saying it's disrespectful what he's doing, and like I said, that's the bulk of why I've chose to include that in this live stream. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. We're gonna get into that. And obviously we've been linked with Ivan Toney. Big up yourself, Jay, holding it down for all the Yorkshire Gooners. I know you're out there in Leeds. Big up Josh as well. He said, big up the chat. I just don't think you understand. He's Arsene Wenger's man. He's better than Zidane. We've got Mesut Ozil. That's gonna bring a tear to my eyes. I did love that chart personally, people. Mr. has said, finally here before it starts. Better late than never. Omar said, nice channel logo, Deluded. Just noticed it. Are you referring to the subscribe button in the bottom right, or are you referring to actually putting my face and getting rid of the cartoon? I thought, what, I have a beautiful face. Why don't I show it to you a lot more often? Big up yourselves, people. A man said, Gunnosaurus are the kids. The kids are the money. Live for Planet X. Don't know. All them Australian Goonies, he holds it down for you. I really appreciate you guys. Gunnosaurus is the kids, probably. And for me, it's done now, man, because it's antagonizing. The club have antagonized Ozil and forced him out. Apologies. The Ozil's antagonized the club. Let's be honest. I don't think he's wrong for what he did in relation to even the Gunnosaurus. But let's be honest, you can see how as soon as the club have cut my man, he's taken it upon himself to do what he needs to do, and giving it back, whether it's right or wrong. Obviously, Ozil has been known to be Mr. Twitter fingers in the last year or so. Very, he's very smart in the way he's doing things. And that's actually, if I flip the screen quickly, please make sure you smash the like button, people. Please make sure you smash the like button. That's actually what I would like to refer to as people, because this is personally, let me show you. You lot can draw your own conclusions. Now, we've known for a while my man is going to Fenerbahce for the last week or so. We've heard a lot of talk. We've seen indirect talks from Ozil, from Arsenal's camp, from his agent, etc. And in the last few days, we've obviously seen more advancements. Like you can see in here now, he's holding up the bat, he's holding up the flag. Obviously, you can see, God bless his young one, him and his wife and young one. They obviously took a plane over to Turkey but within the last 48 hours to obviously complete this move to Fenerbahce, after he's obviously come to an agreement with departing Arsenal. You've also all seen he was in and around the Emirates and London Coley as he said sorry. Now, we all know in today's day and age with social media and all of these other things, it's like we know a transfer is happening or a player is leaving before we see it on Arsenal.com or Sky Sports and things. But a lot of people are saying they don't like what Mesut Ozil's gone on with, where it's been very disrespectful, because we haven't had official confirmation of his move. People, he's spoken to the Turkish media about how excited he is. Obviously, you're seeing this. Obviously, this was probably the main one, people, that got people thinking. Obviously, it's in the Fenerbahce colours, and there was numerous sort of things along them lines, like little clues and hints and tips in relation to he's leaving the club. Now, a lot of people have been antagonized by that and said, if you love Ozil, if you love Arsenal, Ozil, you don't do that. You give us some grace. I get it. Apologies, people. Something's dropped on the floor. Make sure you put all your wires away before you start live streaming. iPhone wire all over the place. A little bit of green tea didn't kill anyone. But yeah, people, like for me, a lot of you are saying it's disrespectful because a move hasn't been gone. He's been documenting every step of the way, down to being at the Emirates, to every sort of process we've seen in relation to so far at the time of making this live stream with departing the club. Some people could say that's disrespectful. If you love the club, you've been disrespecting us. Personally, I don't think it is, because on one hand, we know he's leaving. You've got Aubameyang and Lacazette, who we're going to get onto. They're playing coy over who gets the 10 shirt. Again, we know he's leaving. All the in the nose and the transfer people, even David Ornstein, we've known this move is going to happen. So on one hand, nobody's being told anything they don't know. I personally don't think it's disrespectful. And personally, if it is disrespectful, again, I don't think you can all be in Arsenal's corner or in Ozil's corner. Both have reasons to feel hard done by with this relationship. Both have reasons to behave better, but they haven't given him no disrespect. He's not been allowed to say bye to the fans, a team that he spent 7 years at. He hasn't been allowed to step foot at least for a little 10 minutes and get one more assist or something. He hasn't been shown. If I'm Ozil, I think I've been shown disrespected. Forget all of that. I've been a loyal serviceman. I've been here when the trophy drought ended. I've done what I've needed to do. Fair enough, we're not eye to eye, but this is meant to be Arsenal Football Club, a club that does things with grace, a club that does things with prestige, a club that does things a different way to others. Personally, I think a lot of that's gone out the window in the last few years, and you ain't show me respect. What do I give you? Make sure you've got your journalists on point to when it has happened to officially confirm it. So for what it's worth, I personally don't think it's anything. Personally, I don't think it is disrespectful. I don't see how it can be disrespectful. Arsenal owe Ozil nothing. He owes Arsenal nothing. Again, Ozil might have had a bit of grace if you let my man finish out on the right way, people, and keep it moving. It is what it is. He needed to go. It was unhealthy, but it is what it is, man. James is saying, I don't see the disrespect. I think he's been very respectful towards Arsenal. Plus, he's a fan of Fenerbahce. He's allowed to be excited. I don't think you're allowed to spell aloud like that. And this is from someone with poor English, James. But I agree, man. He's been very respectful. Some people saying other reasons he's been disrespectful. He is a fan of Fenerbahce and we're irrelevant to him. You've tried to make, man, you've throw man under a bus with the leaks in relation to his wages. You've not really defended my man when it came to China. You've not allowed him to say bye to the fans. You've made him train for no reason and things like that. Respect goes both ways, really, really and truly. I don't think the fan is of relevance, but at the same time, my guy, it's just people being upset about the wrong things. I'm not upset about this really and truly. He's effing off. he owes us nothing really. If he started dissing Arsenal and getting at us, then that's a different thing. But he owes Arsenal nothing, and personally, I don't think it's disrespectful. If you lot think it's disrespectful, it is what it is. I can't take anyone's opinion, but I mean, there's a lot of things that footballers have done that I think is disrespectful, and they've been allowed. But it is what it is, bro. English, I just about passed it, my guy, bro. Listen, I was crap at all subjects, so it's nice to see someone in my boat. To be fair with you, and I know a lot of you are saying PR merchant, bro. Ozil has had the PR on lock. Toby has said Mesut Ozil's situation has been a complete S show. Just glad it's resolved, and I think that's the best opinion to have. It's done. It's done. It is what it is. There's always going to be another scapegoat, another reason for our problems, another player that symbolizes every collective problem that Arsenal have. But it's not going to be Mesut Ozil anymore. And for me, I think please make sure you're hitting the like button as well, people. For me, it's, I didn't expect to get money back on Ozil, because at the time 40 million was a big bit of money. When you make them big transfers, you probably don't expect to make that back. But to get a grand total of 0 for Mesut Ozil, Aaron Ramsey and Alexis Sanchez, if you was to tell me that when we kind of had a decent squad, I think you lot are buzzing. And for me, I hope that this finally brings an end to peeing around over contracts, because for me, we've got into this Ozil situation. Why? Because he was able to leave it, and rightly so. He was playing well. No one put a gun to Mesut Ozil's head to sign that deal in the same way no one put a gun to the backs of Arsenal's boardrooms and said offer him 350k. He leveraged it. We knew at the time we couldn't let Alexis and Ozil leave. Now, hindsight, it's a wonderful thing, but people would have said, what does that tell you about the club? He was able to utilize that, and he played a blinder. Definitely, when you consider the luxuries that Ozil's been afforded to have at this club as well, him and his agents played a blinder. But for me, what I want to see now, and I hear them talk about it, real proactiveness. Real proactiveness. Because again, for me, Ozil's departure should symbolize a new sort of beginning at Arsenal Football Club when it comes to contracts. And I know Raul Sanllehi, when he was here, spoke about it. But for me, I want decisions reached. You allowed Ozil to pee about. He leached on your desperation. It is what it is. We all know with Alexis Sanchez, you could have got 60 million from him. Instead, you left him. You had your hands down, you had your trousers down, and you just tried to hide behind the fact of, look, we've let a player go for free, and we've got a player who's also plays in a similar sort of role in Mkhitaryan, and we all know how both of those players fared for both clubs. It was the most expensive free transfer swap deal in history, in my opinion. Aubameyang and Saka, we got over it. But you look at Balogun now, reach conclusions. If I'm not saying, sometimes there's exceptions, like, you don't have to sell a man if his contract's running down, if you believe he can convert him into signing a new deal. But Balogun, for whatever reason, it ain't happened. Sell my man in the summer, go and get your quids, 2022, we have a lot of contracts to decide. Lacazette and Eddie Nketiah, I think the lack of contract talk it's telling us all we know. Go and make a decision. Kolasinac, Guendouzi, numerous players in 2022. We've got I want to see more of a proactiveness. I want to see, it's almost like we're just accepting our fate. We're just hoping man change their mind. So I think that's what we need to do, people. But in relation to Mesut Ozil, personally, I don't think it's disrespectful at all. Really, he owes Arsenal nothing. He's always going to do this. Ozil's got a very loyal fan base of social media minions. He's got Ozil supporters are a bit like Neymar's and Ronaldo's and Messi and that. I'm wary of using the word idolize, because I don't believe in that, in it. But we all do, in it. Like, bro, I'm an Arsenal fan, but I'm a big Thierry Henry fan. We get it, in it. But we all know in today's day and age, it's difficult. I feel fans, you do get fans that support clubs, but I feel you get fans that just follow footballers, and there's nothing wrong with that. But so I can see why Ozil is doing this. He's gassing up his followers. He's getting Fenerbahce fans excited. It's another exciting exciting move from Mesut Ozil, because one thing we can't say, we was buzzing when this man signed for our club. I remember I was in Mali, I thought it was was. The next day I'm on the strip, I see Mesut Ozil signed for Arsenal. It's an absolute mad thing. So he's gassing up the Fenerbahce fans. He's gassing, like my man said, there's an element of excitement. Obviously, he's a Fenerbahce fan. Obviously plays for Germany, but he's got Turkish roots. So this is somewhat even more of a reason. So I get it. And obviously, he's got Ozil fanboys that will follow him religiously. Even when he leaves Fenerbahce, they'll follow him to America or wherever he wants to go next. Sort of thing. And the fun thing is, Ozil and Arsenal is done now. But you got to remember, it's crazy. The man's 32 years of age, people. He's not exactly young, but you're not over the hill. You've missed a lot of football for a 32-year-old. Now go out and go play football. Go do what you need to do, because a footballer career is short. I know Ozil's won the highest honor you can win in the game for me in the World Cup. World Cup, then Champions League. And he's obviously earned a lot of money. He's won cut. He's played for Madrid. He's obviously won things at Arsenal and been happy here. And he probably will not sell his London villa, but you go out and play football now. Go out and play football, because a football career is short and there's no substitute for that. It don't matter how much money you make or whatever, nothing will replace that buzz of a match day. And Lion Barra said Ozil is a businessman. He knows what he's doing. Percentage of search shells and clothing promotion. And he is a businessman. You're seeing the O there, that O. Away, you remove Ozil and Mesut, that O in itself is a brand. And I don't blame him for capitalizing on that. I wish you lot would buy the Deluded DG Nation shirts. But yeah, it's a branding thing, and I feel that's one thing. I wouldn't say it's annoyed me, because footballers do it, but at times you're just seeing, is it like Ozil is a footballer second, and then brand ambassador, fashionista first? Again, you have to consider everything, and definitely in the last 2 years or so, Arsenal haven't given a crap about him, so you might as well make your money. Like Peter has said, fundamentally though, this Arsenal/Ozil saga reminds me of a toxic relationship coming to the end. Big up yourself, Peter. I'm trying to find, let me scroll up quickly. These are just random notes, people. This is obviously what I was speaking about, and we spoke about that. But the director at Fenerbahce said Mesut's childhood dream and dream of all Fenerbahce people will come true. Mesut is one of the biggest stars in the football world. Biggest stars the football world has ever seen. With Mesut's arrival, I hope we will have very good days, win great trophies, and we're all hoping that, man. I'm supporting Fenerbahce for a second, people, really and truly. As you lot know, in case you don't know, just a quick recap for you lot. He's arrived in Istanbul. He's taken a picture with the Fenerbahce staff. He's spoken to Turkish media. Again, it's just a case of dotting I's and crossing T's, and by the time this is finished, we'll probably have a proper confirmation of his move. Be interesting to see if it's a brief statement from Arsenal, if they show a man some real love. It is quite upsetting how I think a man's been treated, because I think regardless of Mesut Ozil, I care about my football club. We talk about prestige and doing things, and I think the way we've handled a lot of things with Gunnosaurus, with the wage cuts, with leaking stuff about Ozil, with the way we've let Ozil leave, I think this says, as much as you could say it speaks about Ozil, I think it says hell of a lot about Arsenal if we claim about being classy. This isn't classy. This has been the furthest thing from classy. It is what it is. As you lot know, he's confirmed his move to Fenerbahce. Obviously, he signed I don't even know how long he signed, but he's joined them. No one knows about how much money he's on or the contracts, something that's not of Arsenal's problem. As you can see, him and his young family, and it was a dream allegedly of his wife to complete a move to Turkey. So he's got exactly that, people. So I enjoyed watching Mesut Ozil. I do think you needed to pull it out a bit. I do think you're misunderstood, but my opinion is, for the 7.5 years, I do think there's an element of you could have been a lot better. We could have built the team around you. You was scapegoated. There's many cocktails. But for what it's worth, just at footballing level, loved you as a footballer, man. Eye of a needle pass, just a mercurial talent, really and truly. Absolute mercurial talent. So best of luck at Fenerbahce. Hopefully you do your thing. But he has said, I'm a Fenerbahce fan. This is why I'm very happy to be coming to Turkey with Fenerbahce. I'm very excited. God gave me the chance to wear this jersey as a Fenerbahce fan. God willing, I will carry it with honor and do everything I can for the team. Of course, I'm missing a few matches. I haven't played in a match in a while, but I'm physically fit. And that's what his agent said. He's obviously losing match fitness, but he's trained and he is training. And he's actually trained at times with Arsenal's under 23s as well, people. Little bit of an insider for you, but I am physically fit. I have no issues. As you lot know, yeah, man, good luck to the 32-year-old, and that's that in relation to Mesut Ozil. In fact, that's not it, because this is it, people. One thing you give Arsene Wenger, and I've heard this from a credible source, and I've been saying this for years. People get onto Arsene Wenger a lot. He said not to sanction that deal for Ozil for all his criticisms. He said not to sanction it, people. He's prepared to let both of them leave. And he's thingy. Apparently, he hugely resented it, as you lot could see, people. And now we're made to pay, because really and truly, it's been great to him. Have we got 350,000 worth of talent, from him? We've had to pay even more. Oh, fuck off with the Brexit stuff, man. Corona stuff. We haven't got as much as we thought. And plus, we've had to, on top of just giving him what we've needed to give him, we've had to pay him off as well. And we've had the drama. So there is stuff to learn. But in relation to Arsenal and learning from the past and applying for a better future, I'm not too sure. And like he said, people, it is thought that Wenger had real issues sanctioning such a deal, but concerns that not doing so would lead to disharmony in the squad. And for me, people, again, you saw it with Ramsey. It has a knock-on effect, really and truly. So make of that what you will. We're gonna get into Ivan Toney in a second, people. But what are you lot saying in the comments? Make sure you're hitting the like button. Please check out the pinned message. Watch Along Business later, people. Hit the like button, like James said, man. Come on, it doesn't cost a thing. Man said I'm preaching. I agree with you, Blue. Fundamentally, people are just sensitive, man. Sensitive. The stuff you're meant to be angry about, you're not angry about. The stuff you need to not be angry about, you're moving mad over. So it's a bit crazy. And I'm not too sure if the new era can finally begin, my guy, because I keep believing that can happen at Arsenal. But, I see people said it's all Wenger. People said it's all Ivan. And listen, Wenger had his problems. I have no time whatsoever for Ivan Gazidez. People said it was Raul. People said it's this guy. As much as I think Stan needs to go, is everything going to change if Stan leaves? I think yes, because you have an owner that stays. But my point being, we look to just blame one person when we have to look at the collective of what we're doing or not doing. For me, fundamentally, with Socrates likely to go, Mesut Ozil now going, Kolasinac now going, hopefully this now means we can sign a number 10 or for me an 8.5, people. So it is what it is in that regard. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. How have we not hit 200 likes like people are saying, man? Come on, people. Come on, man. You lot are doing me dirty. What has James said? People need to remember him coming to end the 9-year trophy drought. That's true as well, to be fair. He didn't do it alone, but people forget that, he played very well in the 2014 FA Cup run, but it is what it is, man. And fundamentally, it's our fault, I don't agree he's lame, but again, no one put a gun to Donny's head. You gave man the deal. Simple as that. And for me, like you're seeing with Mesut Ozil, maybe even hindsight Alexis Sanchez, I think we don't recognize players are getting older and potentially on the decline. So we either have to buy a new guy or change it. We still even think Mesut Ozil, even when he was playing, is the Mesut Ozil of tomorrow. We still somewhat think it with Aubameyang. We don't really, I feel I don't really feel we counteract against that. And I also feel we don't try and change, man. Like Ozil, I think if you looked at David Silva's book, you would have had more of a success in England, or not that you weren't a success. You'd shut a lot of people up because you showed it in patches. You just didn't show it consistently, in my opinion. And I'm not talking about the passing. I'm talking about rolling up your sleeves and stuff and things that we know Ozil isn't built for, but you still have to do it to a degree, people. So it is what it is, man. The owner has killed our club, bro. Fundamentally, the buck stops with the owner. It stops with the owner. Think about it, people. If you're a business, logically speaking, think about it. In any walk of life, if you're a business, whether you make shoes or you're a stockbroker or whatever, if the owner wants to be a winner and have excellence, it's going to trickle down. How many of you have been at companies where the owner or the top boss or whatever, he only wants the best, he only wants results. So, the manager below him or the staff around him, they're all winners. Or how many of you have been at companies that are not really that serious, and it rubs up on man. He rubs off on everybody. So it's all about the culture. Fundamentally, there's been hella different managers and advisors and all of these sort of things at Arsenal now. We've still seen with the owner. The owner needs to go. I'm praying to God he goes. Personally, I have no hope as an Arsenal fan as long as Stan Kroenke is still the owner, because he doesn't give a crap. Do I think the minute he leaves, we're ultimately going to turn into winners? No, but I think Arsenal deserve the chance to dream, and football fans in general deserve the chance to dream. Whether you want to get promoted to the Premier League, win trophies, win big games, top 10 finish, whatever. That's what football's about. It's about hope, belief. And sadly, I don't have that as an Arsenal fan, because we might have games where we put in a good result. We might have form, but barring a miracle, unless we was to do a Leicester City thing, I can't really have hope with Arsenal because of who owns this football club. They don't give a crap. If Arteta's able to do some sort of madness and win us a league title, or the players, fair play. But I don't see a collective winning thing. I don't see the owner. I don't even see the owner, full stop. So I try not to have too much expectation at Arsenal. I accept everything for what it is. Like at this moment in time, I've told you lot in my last live stream, I don't even have belief in the majority of these players. And that's not me negative. That's just me being real. Like, I love Lacazette. I don't believe in him. I love Pepe. I don't believe in him. I've got a lot of time for Maitland-Niles. I don't believe in him. I don't think Xhaka is a bad player. I defo don't believe in him. I defo don't believe in Bellerin as much as I like Bellerin. I don't believe in Bear Man. I don't think, they're going to show me patches of brilliance, but I don't believe in them. So I've learned I don't have any expectations on them. They can't shock me, 'cause I don't expect much. I only expect stuff from previously Aubameyang, and Aubameyang's bordering on joining that territory because he's not scoring goals, but I only expect stuff from historically Aubameyang because you show me you can score goals. Saka and Martinelli because you set high expectations for yourself. Partey because you're actually a good footballer. Gabriel because I know you're a bit raw, but I can see a good footballer in you. Tierney because, Celtic have blessed us in that regard. There's only a couple, Leno to a degree as well, because Leno might make mistakes, but 9 times out of 10, he's a decent keeper between the sticks for us. Pause. So for me, they're the only ones I have anything close to expectation. Even with these no expectations, I still get disappointed. But I just don't think I can dream as an Arsenal fan. We won the FA Cup last year. We was hoping a thing could happen. But, any serious club builds upon that and says, yo, we had a poor season. We kind of salvaged it. Let's have a bit more of consistency. Instead, you've got an owner who doesn't care. And then you've got people below him left to their own devices. So it is what it is, people. It really is what it is. Until that man keeps it moving, you have to keep the... What can I say, people? What can I say? Big up Mo. What have you said? Where do you see us finishing this season? Well, it's a mad season, so you could finish anywhere. And I don't like ifs and buts. I think Arsenal will let themselves down only because they let themselves down. It's not that anybody... there's a bag of teams better than us, but it's not like you look at the Premier League right now and say... there's one team that's clear of the other. It doesn't make sense. So for me, I hope to finish in the top 6. I don't think so. I'd say mathematically you can still finish in the top 6. Personally, I think it's more of the same like last season. So what was that, 7th, 8th, wherever it was? I'd love to be wrong, but I don't believe their levels, man. I just don't believe their levels. Big up yourselves, people. We've got a super chat. 1 second, man. And Lemon, you're right, bro. They're not. To be fair with you, I agree with that. But at the same time, when you look at Ozil's metrics, he runs a lot, so he gets a bit misunderstood. But there's got to be a reason he hasn't adapted. Look at David Silva. It's not about height and strength and things. It's about putting yourself about. And Ozil has done it sporadically. He's not done it that sort of stuff consistently, sort of thing. So yeah, man, beyond the obvious, but you're right, Peter, man. What we also said here, Dow Square, big up yourself for the super chat. I appreciate you, my guy. You said DJ at their peak, you can only have one, Alexis or Ozil. Who you taking? It's like asking me to pick between my mother and father. Like, it's difficult, my guy. Ooh, because Mesut Ozil, serious passer. You know what? Yeah, I'll probably change, but I'm gonna say Alexis. I'm gonna forgive Alexis. Not the nonsense Alexis I saw you coming with when you wanted to leave, but I just feel Alexis had that match winner aspect, which is very underrated. Like, how many times, it's unhealthy to rely on one player to do that, but he's the closest thing we probably had to Bruno Fernandes at United right now in terms of being a match winner, different positions. But I feel for all of Alexis's technical qualities, like he could score goals, I think his final ball was very underrated by fans and stuff like that. They just looked at his goal scoring. He was a complete player, but that match winningness, I would say Alexis Sanchez, man, he galvanizes the rest of the squad, and I think that's what he has over Ozil. I think if the squad is all patterned, what Ozil can do with the passes and stuff, but I just feel Alexis can dig you out and stuff. Pause. Can dig you out and stuff when you need it. So I'd say Alexis at their peak, but it's difficult, man. For me, I don't even think it was his peak personally, but I think it was. When Alexis went through the middle, I think that was for me his most complete sort of version of him. But then again, I preferred him on the left and all those sort of things. So I would say Alexis Sanchez. Love for your super chat, my guy. But I'd rather Ozil, because at least Ozil, as much as Ozil's been moving wrong, at least the way Alexis left is a madness, man. He was doing an absolute madness, people. Absolute madness. So it is what it is. But quickly moving on from that, we've been linked with Brentford striker Ivan Toney. Now, I think he's developed a lot, man. He's gone from Northampton to Newcastle. It didn't work out for him at Newcastle. He went to Peterborough, built himself up. Now he's at Brentford. Now, he didn't have the best of games against Spurs, but I do think he's a decent player. I'd probably pass. Now, again, when it comes to strikers, obviously they're still developing, and I'm prepared to hold my hands up. I remember watching what was it? Was it under 20 World Cup? Haaland played and Martinez played. And if I was a scout, then I would have said, let's not sign them, let's keep monitoring them. So I would have lost my team 100 odd million, definitely on Haaland and potentially Martinez as well. It I do think the headline sensationalizes it a bit. When you look at Aubameyang's age, Lacazette's age, Nketiah's contract business, it makes sense for Arsenal in the short, medium, and long term to be looking at a striker, whether they're in England or abroad. So naturally, you're going to look in you're seeing someone who's 24 years of age, got 16 goals in 22 games for Brentford, was doing his thing at Peterborough. So you are going to keep tabs. You're going to watch him and say if he has a breakout season, or you see a game where you're confirmed his ability and you move for him, fair play. But everybody watches everybody. Everybody watches every player. It's all about building up knowledge, Everybody's watching well, not maybe because they don't necessarily want him, but it's because they want to know about his profile and things. So I'm not too sure if we want to go for Ivan Toney, but again, it makes sense, 24. Again, I won't say cut price because Brentford, they got 30 million for Ben Rama, similar fee for Watkins. They're not letting man go for cheap. And personally, I think if you're, with all due respect to him, if you're going to do that, I'd rather, spend that 30 million on an Eduard, or try something a bit more expensive, go for Marlon, or, try something a bit different, really. Because again, I do think you can find deals in the Championship and there's good players there, but it's a level playing ground now. You can't go back 10, 20 years ago. You could bully the lesser Premier League teams and the Championship teams for their players. You go back to 09, with all due respect to Leicester, because they're doing better than us and they're a bigger team in the Prem than us for the last few years, they couldn't sell to United, yo, you're not taking him unless you're giving us 80 million. These, you couldn't West Ham, sorry, they could take Ben Rama for what, maybe 10, 15 max, not 30. So I love that it's an even playing ground as well, but I don't think there's anything in it, really and truly. Again, I get it. Maybe if you've got Aubameyang, you go for another forward, or you do something else in that regards, and you have Ivan for the squad. But for me, 24 years of age, English, these things make sense. But I do think they're going to ask for too much money for what Arsenal be prepared to spend. So it's impressive from him. And as you know, if we're working with a limited budget, are you really going to spend 30 million on this forward, with all due respect to him? And as we know, there's still doubts over Lacazette's future, because on one hand, the club might be legitly saying, yo, end of the season, Lacazette will talk. I think it's quite damning, because when it was Aubameyang and Saka, you heard Arteta, I need them to sign deals, new deals, new deals. When it was talk of El Nene signing a new deal, let's calm it down. Lacazette, end of the season. Eddie Nketiah, there's been a deafening silence. Now, again, even if Lacazette, I feel Lacazette's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't, because the people will say, like you've seen with Willian coming to Arsenal and his form towards the last season at Chelsea, Aubameyang prior to signing a new deal, and I'm sure there's many examples, man will say, they're playing for contracts, or what if we sign Lacazette? Like, let's say Lacazette scores 20 league goals, something he's never done here, or does amazing. People might say, even then, maybe we should sell him. There's never been a better time to sell Lacazette. He's got a year left on his deal. People might say, oh, he'll be all right. In fact, he's even been linked with Real Madrid and Atletico today. Think he's punching for either. Atletico went and bought Dembele. Real Madrid's a myth. I know he'd want to go because Zidane's there, but they might take a chance on him personally. And even if he scores 20 league goals, man will say, yeah, the cynics will say, let's sell him. But some people say, let's give him a new deal. But the cynics would also return and say, yo, remember what happened with Aubameyang? What happens if we commit Lacazette to a new deal? At 29 years of age, him and his agent should be looking for a 3-4 year deal minimum, which makes it gazy for Arsenal. Then we run the risk of, yes, Ozil's gone and Socrates is gone, and hopefully Kolasinac and Mustafi and Luiz and all of these other guys that are adding towards us mismanaging our finances. You can say, cool, finances are being freed. But for me, wouldn't it be one step forward, two steps back if you commit Lacazette to a big outlay? And he does go into that situation where it's like Aubameyang now, where the form isn't there, or the Ozil thing happens. Because we've got to remember, and it's again like with Aubameyang, Lacazette is 29 now. He's not 26. So now again, we have to recognize his body is changing. There's going to be things he used to be able to do without thinking. He's going to struggle. Things that he couldn't do, he's now able to do. Things he's going to have to maximize. And I think at Arsenal, we haven't recognized when somebody's declining, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Jamie Vardy's a bad boy. The man came into the Premier League at 27, 28, and he's up there for statistics. But is Jamie Vardy as aggressive for 90 minutes as he is? Is he all action, or does he time it a bit more? Or is there a bit of street smartness? So that's testament to Jamie Vardy adjusting and obviously things like that and looking after his body. But it's also to Leicester. And I feel when you look at Aubameyang, when you look at a couple of players that are on a bit, even on the best of days when players are in their mid-20s, we don't play to their strengths. We don't recognize the players we have. So a declining Lacazette, how are we going to use him? Because he does struggle to score goals. And he is scoring goals right now, fair play. His form can be described as iffy, but how are we going to use him? Someone like Lacazette, I do think he could be a 10 towards the end of his career, which at 29 might be now. People will have to decide. And for Laka, as inconsistent as he's been generally at Arsenal for all his good form, I do think he could go get a Champions League club. So for me, I wouldn't be trying to sign a new deal. I think it's writing on the wall. Are we going to let Eddie Nketiah and Lacazette leave at the same time? People will say, yeah, you could do that. You've got Martinelli, you've got Aubameyang, you could bring in the next man and things like that. Personally, I think it'd be a thing where we either sell Lacazette and then we give Eddie one chance to show us what he's on if we're not going to sign a new deal, or we keep Lacazette, let him run down his deal, because again, that like with Ramsey and whatnot, that could be something, and maybe that's what Lacazette is going to do. Maybe Lacazette says, what, I'm not leaving if you want to sell me. Maybe Lacazette says, I don't want to sign a new deal. Maybe he says, I'm going to stay on here for another year. I've got a decent deal. I'm happy here. And he's even spoke about getting the 10 shirt, so maybe he wants to be here for the long term. But also, when you become a free agent at 30, 31 years of age, that, it's not, that might tempt people to look at him and say, do you know what, we can give him, there's no transfer fee, there's a wage there for him, there's a sell-on clause. And again, he needs to, if he's going to sign, for me, I think Lacazette needs to accept that if everything was banging how it was, Lacazette, I'm not saying he can't be used in the squad. I'm not saying he can't be a first team regular, but for me, he's a plan B striker. And that's not me underestimating Lacazette. I rate Lacazette. I sing his praises. I just want people to understand football is a squad game. 38 games. Sometimes you need Aubameyang, sometimes you need Laka, sometimes you need both. Sometimes when the man that is starting, you need to bring off another sub. But for me, I think Lacazette is that plan B. I think plan B strikers are overrated. Lampard sure as hell doesn't rate thingy Giroud, in my opinion. But look how many points Giroud saved them more so last season to get them top 4. Cavani's gone off the ball a bit, but he had his little phase at United. And we've all seen there's numerous other examples. And I think, I do think there's reasons to sell Lacazette. I think there's a lot of reasons to actually keep him for that plan B stuff. Because for me, Aubameyang gets back to goal scoring ways. You do what you can with Pepe if we can get over there. If not, let's sign another right winger or address all the areas. And then you've got Lacazette in the squad, because I think you need a couple of strikers. Like I said, when things aren't going right. And also, you can't underestimate Lacazette's strengths that he comes with, bringing players in. He's got good link-up play. He does go through patches where he scores goals. He's not good enough to be your number one 20 league goals. You're going to make the difference, but in the squad, he could be utilized. And I think it's pretty damning that, there's silence over a lot of contracts. Him, El Nene, and Nketiah and Laka is pretty damning. Now, they might be able to bust case, stuff happens. But I think it is what it is. I think this is his last year here, personally, people. But we'll have to see in that regards, people, really and truly. One sec. Let's say that was 14. Just so I can clip it up for you guys that are not here, obviously. Keeping up the theme with Lacazette, people, I'm sure you all see another thing that's been annoying fans, people. Aubameyang and Lacazette, they were talking about the 10 shirt, people, that's going to be vacated by Ozil. I don't have the Instagram to hand. Let me scroll down. Here it is, people. For those who haven't seen it, they were joking about when you both want the 10 shirt. They said they put it away. All yours, my bro. And then he said he's gonna, Ozil. I think he made another one. He said, we're gonna look after it for you, Ozil. So again, personally, I don't think there's anybody worthy of a 10 in the Arsenal shirt in the Arsenal team right now. If it's gonna be anyone, it's gonna be Smith Rowe, and he's been in the team for 5 minutes. So let's calm it down. If you bring in a next man, fair play. But right now, I don't think there is one. Lacazette, are you gonna become a number 10? You're lucky. People might say you're lucky to be Arsenal's number 9 shirt, really. Let alone the 10 shirt. Dennis Bergkamp business. People are getting upset about this though. People are saying that Aubameyang and Lacazette are taking the mick, and again, I think it's people reaching a bit, doing things over the top. Again, I do think it's a bit insensitive. I do think it's a bit silly. I do think it's not the wisest because it opens things up. And I do think in line with what Mesut Ozil's doing and what these lot are doing, you know, we all know the transfer is going to happen, but there's been no confirmation. So again, maybe it's a bit of disrespect. I don't think it is nothing. I think you both are punching, you know. Aubameyang, right now, you probably shouldn't be wearing the number 14 shirt, even though you've done your business. Lacazette, number 9, you know, you've showed patches, but have you been a consistent number 9 for this club? And the 10 shirt is a very heavy shirt. You know, at times Ozil was not, you know, Ozil was primarily number 11, but at times it became, he done it with pride, but at times it was too heavy for Donny. Jack Wilshere the same, as wavy as he was. It was too heavy for Donny at times, you know. If you want to get that 10 shirt for me, you gotta make sure you're able to bench 110 on the chest and push it up, sort of thing. Because this ain't no little weight thing. This is that 10 shirt holds weight. So I don't think there's much in it, people. But it's like with the Ozil kind of confirming his transfer stuff, like you can see here, people have been upset. So I spoke about it, people. You lot wanted me to speak about it, so I did. Arteta has praised Xhaka as well, people. Before I get into that for you guys, obviously, please make sure you're hitting the like button. You know, this is one of my best live streams. I don't normally get I wish I had 700. I don't normally get 478 people here, people. I appreciate you guys. We're on 204 likes. Please make sure you hit the like button. What are you guys saying as well, people? Let me take in what you guys are saying because it's an interactive thing just before we get into this Granit Xhaka business. What are you guys saying? No, Raz, I see your comments gone, but I see you say, wait till we sign someone that deserves it. Wholeheartedly agree. I don't think there's anyone that's levels, people. Like Zach said, you know, nobody's levels, bro. Nobody's levels. Henry, I can't lie. Number 13 is my number. That's my favorite number. It makes me vexed that Ronderson is wearing that, man. You couldn't give man a young 27 or 45 or something like that. 46 better yet. You know, 45 is a gunman number. He can't put his hand on them thing there. But I'm vexed. Number 13 is my number. And I'm vexed that Ronderson's got it. I can't lie to you. Football Manager, who did I give it to? I think I gave it to Reece Nelson because he plays a lot for me, man. I think Martinelli, I would have gave him the 7, but that's gone. I think the number 9 is his if he wants it one day. Number 10, Smith Rowe. You can work towards that one day, but let's be easy, sort of thing. And it's like you said, Lemon, they're just having banter. But like you said, people want to make everything negative. They just want a talking point. They just fundamentally want to cry, man, you know, and there's no need for it, man. And like R. Samuels is saying, both need to worry about their respective numbers as they ain't massively performing as those. Lacazette a little bit more. But yeah, you know, I hear that, you know. It's just banter though, man. Messi player said, bless up DG for keeping me entertained whilst at work. Big up all the people them at work. I really respect you lot for doing your thing in that regards. You know, big up yourself as well, Ming Ming. I appreciate you. Lucas has said, how are you, my man? I'm good, man. I'm good. I woke up today before I came online. Was obviously I'm terrible at thumbnails, but I recognize that's an area to improve in. So I've been watching some YouTube documentaries, videos, how to do thumbnails and whatnot. Anyone that wants to do a thumbnail for today's game, hit me up. So yeah, I was just doing that really and truly. So I'm good, man. I've got my health. I'm ready to attack this week. You know, hopefully Arsenal don't ruin my mood later. But let's see, man. Let's see what happens, man. And it's like you said, and to be fair with you, yeah, it's a big sell. You're right. The numbers on the back mean very little nowadays. Too many have disrespected the shirt. For me, fundamentally, I don't really care about numbers. You know, I just care about that name on the shirt and what you're doing for the badge on the front. You can wear whatever. You could be number 99, but it's true. You know, as much as I'm saying Lacazette, Aubameyang, you lot are punching to even be chatting about the number 10 business. This club sold itself down the river the minute it let William Gallas have it. You know, which make no sense because the man's a centre half, anyways. On top of how he conducted himself, it's an open secret. I ain't got time for that. What have you said? Hit me after your stream, bro. How am I gonna hit you? I don't have contact information, my guy. If you go on my YouTube community tab, you'll see an email address for you to hit up if that's what you want to do. I don't know how I'd get at you, my guy. But yeah, man. Pick up them YouTube members as well. I really appreciate you lot, man. Really appreciate you guys. Bro, you can't forget that, fam. You can't forget he had number 10. He was atrocious, man. Royal Billionaire said, keep up the good work, my brother. Slow but steady. Your channel is growing. Trust the process. I will, man. I will. And it's true, and I would love to claim credit for that, but that's from Tony Adams. And in fact, he's probably going back beyond Tony Adams. It's common knowledge, bro. Forget the number, forget the name. If you do your job and you act with integrity, man, remember you. Like, man, don't care that Tierney's number 3. Of course, I like that, he's doing his thing, but we don't care that Tierney's 3. All that we're going to remember is Kieran Tierney, how he's performing for the badge on the front, and then the name on the back takes care of itself. Same way I see that with Saka, same way I see that with Gabriel, Partey, Martinelli, couple players in this team, they're the only ones that have anything close to expectation. And to be fair, I think Holding tries to respect the badge as well, to be fair, but he's just not that sort of guy, if that makes sense, man. I think Ozil should have been allowed to at least play another game and things like that. But it is what it is. The man's gone. The club need to conduct themselves better. Ozil probably needs to conduct himself better. It is what it is, man. It really is what it is in that regards. It's not a DG live stream if Dermot doesn't come in and say, people, this guy must get paid for that. But moving on, people, let's talk about Granit Xhaka and Mikel Arteta. It seems that Xhaka isn't a bad player. If you think he's a bad player, you're lying. You can think he's not good enough. You can think he's not consistent enough. You can think he's immobile. You can think, which I believe in, that, the positives he's supposed to be bringing into the team are not outweighed by the negatives. Personally, I feel that, I don't think he's a bad player. I just feel, when Xhaka is sent, I see what Xhaka tries to offer to the team and clearly what Arteta tells him. And I think when you're relying on the caliber of Xhaka to do that, it says it all. I do like Xhaka's mentality. I'm not going to lie to you lot, people. I like that he doesn't take crap. I like that he plays with integrity. I know he's someone that's scapegoated and things like that. I do think I don't think he's a bad player. I think fundamentally he's not good enough. And I really, Arteta will, again, players like Xhaka are going to make or break you. Because if we're real, he should not be in the starting 11 in midfield for a team that wants to get top 4. He will show patches. He's played well in big games. The last few games, he's played very well. I like Xhaka. I think he's a squad player. Rotation at best, nothing more. When you're relying on Xhaka, statistically, when everything is going through Xhaka to that level, look what he did against Newcastle. Fantastic. I came off the bench and changed the game. And was it Newcastle? I could be wrong, but I'm sure he came off the bench against Newcastle and changed the game along with the other subs. I get it. I get what we try to make Xhaka bring to the table. But if you're making him be the one to do that, it's poor, and I'm not one of them man there that do this sort of stuff and say just because he can't be a good player because he can't get into the other teams. But the teams above us, literally in the league, does he get into them? On some hand, I think yes. On another hand, I think no. And this isn't me to critique, and this is just me being real. And I'm not even going to just look at the players' abilities. Again, he wouldn't get into Spurs. I mean, in terms of what he can give to the team, I guess he could play, but I wouldn't get rid of Højbjerg or Ndombele or even Sissoko for what he gives for him. He definitely doesn't get into Liverpool's. By default, I guess he can make the squad at Leicester, but he's not getting in there. I wouldn't have him at United if I was a United fan. I wouldn't have him at City, definitely. He can get into Villa and West Ham and Southampton by default. He always bullies up Chelsea, so I'm sure Chelsea will take him and they remember the free kick. But let's be real, and this isn't me to critique him. This is just me looking at these players. They're just not levels in a nice way. Again, as much as I like Xhaka, I don't think Xhaka is a bad player. I actually back Xhaka a lot, but phenomenal. And again, we know Xhaka is one of those players. He's like Marmite. You either love him or hate him. I'm not a fan of scapegoating. If Xhaka plays poor, by all means, tell him he's played poor. If he's played well, plays poor. For what it is with me, I think Xhaka takes too long on the ball. Fundamentally, I think the positives he's supposed to bring to the team on the ball and whatnot, I think he's got far too many negatives to be in the team. So I think he's slow. I think he's far too many negatives. I think he's hot and cold. You don't know what Granit Xhaka is going to turn up. I think the mentality is there. He's not going to turn up. I think he's too easy to press. I think he's very indisciplined. In moments he'll show his discipline. But that being said, I don't think he's a bad player. Like man, I'm saying, way too hit and miss. But I do like his mentality. I'm not going to sit here and cap. I do like his mentality. I do think he's a strong character. And even if you go and read the ex physio guy Burgess's comments the other day, people speaking about Granit Xhaka, but Arteta, and again the thing about Xhaka, the thing about Xhaka is there's always people ready to leech on him. I think he's another one that in football it's like that, but I do think there is too many people that people can't apply balance to. I don't agree with it, but there's some man that think Xhaka is the best thing since sliced bread. There's some man that think he's completely poor, where it's somewhere in the middle. I don't really see what midfielder Xhaka is. I see trying to be a box to box. I see trying to be a deep lion, but for me, being a deep lion playmaker at the top level, or what we aspire to be, somewhat you have to be press resistance. I think when you give time and space to Xhaka, he's probably better than Xavi and Iniesta in that regards. People, you press him, a couple men in the chat might be better than him. Do you get it, people? And again, this is why I say we have to keep it true, because he has had good moments, he has had bad moments. This is why I don't believe in nobody in our midfield apart from Thomas Partey. I love Joe Willock. He's a young G. He's come from Hayland Academy. I'll always support him. But when it's a game where it's not dynamism and trying to tackle and getting stuck in stuff that is a basic for being a midfielder, I find myself praising Joe Willock about that, where when we're playing against a low block, I don't think he brings enough to the table or has enough decision making. El Nene, he's showing his level. He had a good bit of form, he's showing his level. Xhaka goes through a lot of good forms and mad moments, and he doesn't hide. He's just not levels. If we're honest, all three. Ceballos isn't our player permanently, thank God. But these options are not levels. We need levels. Fundamentally, we need to get one midfielder right now that we can say, okay, cool, him and Partey is certified. And then we need to build on that, because what happens when my man gets injured? What happens, as we've seen, when Partey, for whatever reason, isn't out the team? Right now, our priority should be having a competent starting 11, and then, which I hope happens in the summer, but we need to think about depth, because I love Kieran Tierney. I love what Tierney brings to the game. But Tierney isn't playing, and we're talking about we can't create and can't score, take chances. Does that, we're relying on our left back for that. If Saka's having a bad game, we're not doing our job. We're relying on the left back, we're relying on the young man. On one hand, it's testament to how good they are, but it also tells you how kind of poor our squad is and the lack of quality in that regards, people. As you lot know, Xhaka's been impressive since he's returned from his suspension. Xhaka goes through moments, we all know this, he goes through moments of good form and bad form. I even think he gets an unbad rep for the red cards and all those sort of things generally. Statistically, it's not even that deep, but it is what it is. He's Arteta's guy, he is Arteta's guy. Arteta has, the minute Arteta came in, it looked like Xhaka was out. He's kept him. He's key to what he wants to do, people. Pardon me. And Xhaka did have a good game against Palace, but again, if these are your midfielders, it's not levels. Fundamentally, it's not levels, it's not levels, really. And he said after the red card and with the history that he's had, he was in a difficult place, and we had to try and bring him back to where we believe he can be and where he should be, which is being one of the leaders of the team and giving us stability and presence he can provide to the team and to the club. I think since he's been back, he's been phenomenal. He's been playing really, really well. He's been playing good, fair play, phenomenal. He's probably saying all this to G his player up and gas him up a bit, which is good game management and man management. But boy, he said against Palace, he had some really good, important moments, and he's still young. He's a player who can evolve. It's great for us to have him. And he can. He's still, 26, 27 years of age, if that. Let me actually check what I'm saying is factually correct. Granit Xhaka. He's 28. He's still young, brother, but it's now or never, bro. Like, he can change, but it's now or never, my guy. If he ain't got if he ain't ironed out the rough elements of his game, then this is what it is, people. And again, the way we play, it's going to expose Xhaka. Xhaka's going to have good games, but it's going to be like against Spurs. He's going to get exposed. We need dynamism in that midfield. Do I think Granit Xhaka has grit, has determination, has skill? Yeah, he puts himself around, but consistency is not there. And I wouldn't agree with phenomenal. And again, like I said, with Xhaka, I don't think there's enough balance when speaking about him. We could even use the last game we've played as an example, people, because depending on who you speak to, Xhaka was phenomenal against Crystal Palace, like you've seen here, or he was atrocious. Let's be real, for every great pass he played an equally misplaced pass. For every fantastic tackle he definitely made, there was one thunderous tackle in the box that he saved us with. He made a couple mistimed ones resulting in fouls. So I do think Granit Xhaka had a good game against Palace, but it's more of the same. And it's almost what I say is fundamentally, these men are capped. This is the best you're going to get from Xhaka. I like Xhaka. I like Holding. I like Pepe. I like David Luiz. I like El Nene, I like Lacazette, and he's definitely his form. But these man, and this isn't me hating on them, bare man in this team are form players. There's only obviously people go through better moments and bad moments and things. Every player, I guess, is a form player, but there's too much hot and cold players. I don't know what I'm going to get. Now, when you've got one or two, that's cool. But there's literally only 5 or 7, and I've said them throughout the course that I believe are not that. Of course, Saka is going to have good or bad moments, but I think Saka 9 times out of 10 shows you consistency. Martinelli the same. You know, Gabriel for me, he's going to show his rawness, but I can see somebody is 30. Thomas Partey, Kieran Tierney. You know, Leno's got a lot of criticisms, but I think you can move with Leno. More often than not, he's showing, man. And I would throw a Aubameyang in that, really just based off past glory of what he's done for this club. Right now, he's probably not there. So do you get it, people? There's too much hot and cold players. So that's 7 out of a potential 25-man squad. That's not healthy. So again, can we really complain when we do things? And yeah, he put himself around, he made a vital tackle and things like that, but he's not the part. Sabas isn't the partner, El Nene isn't the partner, Xhaka isn't the partner long term for Thomas Partey. And this is where I'm looking at Arsenal now, because for me, players are meant to solve a piece to the puzzle. If you sign Partey, you know you need somebody that's levels. And equally, you've even dropped Xhaka for some big games against the top 6. So we'll have to see. Keeping up the theme with Mikel Arteta, though, people. 1 second. Just so I know, what was that? Let's say 54, 23. Xhaka. Keeping up the theme, people, really quickly with Arteta. He's apparently worried about burnout, and why this is concern for me is the obvious, but also we need to win. We're going into a tough run of games now. We've got the FA Cup, forgive me, on the weekend against Southampton. I could be wrong. Either way, I'm pretty sure we've got to play Southampton twice in the next few weeks. We've got Man United to come in no order. I'm sure we've got Villa, Wolves, Leicester. Some tough games, people. Some tough games. We effed up against Palace. You know, can we make it 4 points from a potential 6 and nothing worse? You know, I definitely don't want 1. I definitely don't want this. I don't want 1. I don't want 2. I don't want 2 draws. We need to win. Newcastle, they're going to need to fight back. Their manager, Steve Bruce, has been G'ing them up. You know, Steve Bruce, for me, you're potentially gone if you don't win this game based on what you can see. But with that, I want to see a strong team. But apparently Arteta is facing, you know, he's scared of burnout. Now, many people will say, okay, cool. So when we played Newcastle the other day, why did you name that strong team? And I don't think you can critique him because it's a knockout competition where defending it, you needed to play them of sorts, people. Maybe certain individuals didn't need to play. We knew it was a congested fixture list. We knew there was going to be a lot of games. We knew there was a fast rotating around. This is why the squad depth is certified. You need to have squad depth. This is why, like I just said earlier, people, first 11 is one thing, but you need depth. You need a left back that can be thrown in. That, okay, cool, he might not be Kieran Tierney, but it's not a significant drop-off to the point where we're talking about Tierney and highlighting the fact that, ironically, in his last game against Newcastle, he created more by himself than everybody on the pitch did against Palace, people. As you can see here, Mikel Arteta says he's worried about player burnout amid a frantic season for Arsenal. We knew what we was going into, so we need to prepare against it. We're 11th place, as you guys know. I'm trying to scroll to the relevant bits. He said, yes, we have been trying to manage it, but the reality is that the fixtures are what they are, and we didn't have a pre-season, which is why, and we've talked about it many, many times, one of the reasons, we wanted 5 subs. It's exactly that. But this is just a consequence, and this will happen more and more, and I think to more clubs. Yeah, can't lie with that. He also said, when asked about making wholesale changes, having won 4 of the last 5 domestic games and winning 4 and drawing 1, he said, yes, but when you're winning, you want to be in the team. And for me, I understand making changes, but same way, when you've got a little bit of form, it can be very dangerous messing around with the squad, people, really and truly. Unless it's the Parteys and the Gabriel stepping in, for me personally. Like he said, there's consequences, people. And he said, when someone is doing well, then you don't want to take them out because you get asked, why are you taking them out? You're only going to be asked that if we lose. He said, the players also want to continue to play because they can't see the bigger picture, but it's a responsibility to protect them. To be fair to you, I would have liked to have seen that terminology used around when you threw Partey into the Spurs game when you knew he wasn't ready. And lo and behold, we missed him out for how many years, people? He also said, we could have taken a big risk with Kieran against Palace, and it wasn't the right one to take because we could have exposed him big time. So it's like you said, people, you know, after like I just said as well, after the game today against Newcastle, we've obviously got Southampton or Shrewsbury on the 23rd, and I think we have Southampton after that. Not in no order. I'm sure we've got Southampton in the league. I'm sure we've got Leeds. I'm sure we've got Southampton, I'm sure we've got Villa, I'm sure we've got Wolves, I'm sure we've got Leicester, I'm sure we've got United, I'm sure towards the tail end of February, early March, there's Spurs. So the games are coming thick and fast. So we do need to manage the squad, but equally we need to put a run together. And arguably even more important than that, we need to get 4 points in games like this, because the games we're going into, Villa's in form, Leicester's in form. United are now first in the table. Again, you don't know how these games are going to go. So we hope we put in a performance, but you need to do what you need to do, people. So it is what it is in that regards. Going back, and that's what I said, Malcolm Potter, about Xhaka as well. Regardless what we think about Granit Xhaka, maybe we could say this is where all these players have gone wrong. The managers, have gone wrong, but there's no coincidence. You've had Wenger, you've had Emre, you've had Arteta, 3 different managers, 3 different ways of doing things. Yeah. They all saw fit to use Granit Xhaka. So regardless of what man think about Xhaka, you have to say there must be a reason. Is it statistically? Is it some metrics? Is it is it the character he has? Is it the ability? I don't know. But I fully agree with that. There's got to be a reason. And that's why I like you, Malcolm, because you can see that you can have your own opinion, but you need to, consider everything, man. So it is what it is. Big up yourself, Nabil, over there in New York. He was very harsh on me about how I speak to the subscribers. I mean, I'm very cool with you lot, man. Come on. You lot think I'm anti. This is it, man. And this is it, man. Some people, but that's football. A week is a long time in football, much less a day is a long time, much less a week. So I can't expect football fans to apply balance and all of these things half the time, because football is a logical sport, especially when emotions are high, man. I wouldn't say Xhaka's turned my opinion around, because I've always got the same opinion. I just feel Xhaka gets scapegoated. He has good games. He has terrible games. Fundamentally, the one opinion that I care about is just he's not levels to do what we need to do. And he will go through, like many of these players, with all due respect to them, they will go through periods. They will have great periods, but then they will show you times where they're just not levels. They're not levels at all. It's just not there. And I get it. You can use jab. You said Alonso wasn't blessed with athleticism, but he was immaculate on the ball. He had fantastic awareness, and his passing range was miles ahead of someone like Xhaka. And I get that. But I'm not saying Xhaka doesn't have a brain, but sometimes you find some of Xhaka's decisions brainless. Alonso had a brain. For me, speaking for myself, I feel Xabi Alonso was very underappreciated in England. Like, some man were rating him. Some people were actually trying to justify Rafa Benitez trying to sell him and bring in Gareth Barry rather than play them both together. It's only for me, when I saw Xabi Alonso go to Real Madrid and Bayern Munich and all these things, people were taking him in really and truly. But what did Alonso have? Alonso had street smartness. He knew what he could and can't do. It's like, for me, I don't think Xhaka has self-awareness for what he can and can't do. I don't think he has that. I don't think he's mature enough to obviously stay in a position, because if you ain't got pace, stay in positions where you won't get exposed. I think Xhaka did do that at times at Arsenal, and Arteta tactically, maybe more so last year, did things along them lines, but it's just not levels, people. It's just not levels. So yeah, we've spoken about burnout. Apparently Bellerin could leave Arsenal at the end of the season, with PSG, Juventus and Barcelona all interested in the player. This is something we've always heard. Personally, I wouldn't mind him going if we can find another right back, but saying that, Tariq Lamptey has signed a new deal at Brighton, making it just that bit harder. Apparently Arsenal's hierarchy have Folarin Balogun Arsenal's hierarchy have Folarin Balogun fears forcing Mikel Arteta into action. Hopefully, sell Donny. Mikel Arteta will not give any more first team minutes to Balogun until he commits his future to the club, according to reports. Now, for me, for obvious reasons, that's an ultimatum which you're not going to win, because him and his agents will say, all right, cool, if you're not going to give us minutes, you're moving. Or they could say, give us minutes, we'll sign. Personally, I think we're at that point now where we have to bite the bullet. Just sell Donny, just sell Donny. He's going to walk for free, but just sell Donny. Just get what you can. You should have got 5 or so million from the Brentfords and the Sheffield Uniteds last season. You shouldn't have been in this situation, because last summer you should have signed a new deal. You saw how much he was excelling last year for the under-23s. You saw what he's doing this year. You obviously, just by someone who's watching under-23s, I saw a whole host of similar age peers, his age, go out on loan. The Tyrese's, the McGuinnesses, Ballard, Oliinka, bare man are going out on loan, and we've not taken a proactive approach to Balogun. So this is why we're in this situation. The 19-year-old could go on and be the best striker in the world, and be a real striker that we turn around and say, oh, why did Arsenal do that? He might be, he might not be. But personally, I'm tired of speaking about Balogun. It's too much chatting. We are where we're at. I would say sell him if you can in January. For me, if I'm Balogun, I'm not letting the club sell me. I'm controlling all my variables. I have every sort of instant. Apparently, he wants to stay. Apparently, talks of Leipzig being interested are true, but wide of the mark. They've tried to go through advisors and see what's going on. So we'll never know how much opportunities they really are. I would love to see him get chances, but I'm just tired of the whole shenanigans and the games and things like that. If he wants to go. If we want to keep him, show him you want to keep him, show him the pathway. I'm just tired of this contract stuff, really and truly, people. Apparently he's been informed that he'll only be considered for selection if a new deal's agreed. And for me, that does rub me up the wrong way. You can't be bullying, because that's something I'm passionate about, because I see that happen to a lot of academy footballers, not at Arsenal, but elsewhere. There's a certain player that used to play for the Hammers. He was a 16-year-old playing for the 23s and doing well, and the Hammers turned around, or people around him, they tried to get him to sign with certain agents. He said no. They tried to get him to sign a new deal. He said he will when he's ready. They said, cool, you're not going to even play under 18s. You're not doing all of this. And then they told his teammates, so his teammates in that dressing room, some older than him, are asking him, like, what's going on? Clubs do little smart things. I'm not saying Arsenal have done that. I'm just saying you can't always look at it from a club's point of view, really, because the clubs don't care about Balogun. You think Arsenal care about Balogun? They don't care about Balogun. They don't care about, and listen to what I'm saying. It's not that they don't care about Balogun, but they don't care about Balogun. They don't care about Folarin Balogun, because if he doesn't make it, there's Tyrese John Jules, there's Mollard, there's other strikers they can go on. If he does, fair play. That's someone that goes to the first team. That's someone that can make it. But they don't care about Balogun. They care about the footballer. They don't care about Balogun. So Balogun needs to do exactly what he needs to do to have a better future, whether it works out or not. Personally, though, Balogun, I'm tired of speaking about you. I do find your Twitter antics quite jarring, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is in that regards. The less said, the better. Again, if he leaves and goes on to be a player, I back him all the way. I think he's a great talent. I think he has got a future in the game, but I'm not going to cry. I've seen Thierry Henry leave this football club, people. So any striker is welcome to leave, people. Welcome to leave. Moving away from that, though, what are you lot saying in the live, people? Xhaka is not suited to Arsenal, the Premier League. Fair play. Difficult. Not too sure off the top of my head, personally. True. Frantic burnout, yes, because the squad is thin. And we're mismanaging. We're overplaying players and we're not giving opportunities to other players. I think Willian's starting today and Saka's going left back, personally. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Big up you lot. Please make sure you're hitting the comment section. Give me what you lot think. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. Please make sure you're checking out the pinned message, people. 7:30 today, Arsenal versus Newcastle. Watch along with your guy, with your boy. Love to have you all here. If you can't be there, please drop a like button for the kid, man. It doesn't cost a thing, man. To be fair, if I was 19 and I got 350k a week, I'm keeping it moving, man. A said, you think we'll sign anyone even though there's only 12 days left of Jan? I hope so, I hope so. A part of me is thinking when we do get official confirmation of Ozil's deal, we might now see some movement. And I think, if the club don't bring in that 8.5, that 8.5, that creative man, they can't, even though Ozil needed to go, it don't look good because man are going to say, which is quite true. Oh, you've let Ozil go. You've not registered him. You've let him go, and you've not brought in a man. I saw a lot of fans. This is what annoys me about fans, because fans get excited and they say things like, "Oh, don't sign Aouar, don't sign Shabozlai, don't sign John Smith, don't sign this guy, don't sign that guy because we've got Smith Rowe." That is no disrespect to Smith Rowe. I'm not disrespecting Smith Rowe. He deserves to have a future here. He's a quality player, but it's a squad game. What happens when Smith Rowe isn't at it? You need other men that can only, help to get a result, but also relieve the pressure. Have we not learned our lessons as Arsenal fans of placing all our hopes on one singular pillar? Whether that's a manager, whether that's a striker, whether that's a right winger, we need a collective squad. I hope we sign one because the club haven't given themselves any blades of glory to kind of cover themselves with if they don't. But who knows? And based on the track record, I would say no. I hope there's a plan because, like I said, when you signed Thomas Partey in October and it became clear you wasn't going to sign that more creative number 8 or midfielder, the work should have been done towards going and getting one. So you've had October until January to look for one. You're right, Lord Arawa isn't a 10, but he can be creative and he's an 8.5. Or he would be a deep line playmaker, 8.5 for me, anyways. Have you spoken on the Theo Walcott interview? Really, it's not anything of relevance. He just said, well, we know, he was, what did he say? Van Persie was the best finisher. Thierry Henry was a legend. I was actually listening to it on TalkSport, really, but it's just, I don't really think it's anything of relevance for me personally. And it's nothing that we didn't know, really. He did say what we already know, in that we was kind of happy to win a cup and qualify for the top 4. We've been knowing Arsenal have had mediocre expectations. We've been knowing that. No, don't get it twisted. Arsenal's still a big club, a massive club. Do not never get it twisted. It's just the fact of people need to understand it's not the Arsenal, like you said, it's not levels anymore. This isn't, and I think any fan that isn't doing that. You've got to ask yourself that the question. Dial Square said, DG, I'm worried about your burnout. My man doing double shifts every day. To be fair, I had yesterday off, really and truly. So I'm there, man. I'm there, but I'm built different to these guys, man. I really want to accomplish something, so I'm built different, man. We keep striving and everything there, man. So yeah, man. A couple more questions before I keep it moving, people. Speaking of burnout, I'm trying not to overexert myself because I know we've got the live reaction, and we've obviously got the next live stream, which will be at 7:30 today, people. I see we're on 310 likes. Can we get that to 400? There's 454 of you people. You lot are violating, man. Come on, the best things in life are free. This doesn't cost you a penny. I also feel we do need to get a goalkeeper, my guy. And you've said if we don't get a goalkeeper this window, there's serious issues upstairs. Even Tom, I think you mean Heaton. If you mean Heston, I don't know him. For 6 to 12 months is all we need. By default, he is better than my man, so I don't mind that, man. Big up my guy KB. Said, yes, my G, another boring game tonight, most likely. I'm struggling to stay up watching us at the moment. You're not alone, my guy. Hopefully we can inject some excitement into you, my guy. YouTube's been recommending your old videos. They need to recommend my new ones, because I've been seeing a lot of you pop up in the comments in the couple. I'm like, bro, what's going on here with the algorithm? Fair play. Let them do the thing, man. Elliot has said, hey, just heard Jack Wilshere signed for Bournemouth. Honestly, I would have taken him back if, and it's a big if, he's guaranteed to be fit and injury-free. Elliot, you're a smart guy, but I think you're speaking with the heart there, because you know yourself, and it kills me to say it, Jack Wilshere is the reason. Jack Wilshere, ironically, going on loan to Bournemouth is the reason I'm sitting here with a YouTube channel. I didn't want him to go. Same, I didn't want Gnabry to leave. But as someone who's been there, from you saying ifs and big ifs, we know we can't. We know Jack Wilshere is going to get injured. We know we can't take that risk. But I'm happy to see he's found the club first and foremost. I hope he stays injury free. To be fair, a large part of the time when he was at Bournemouth and did come back to Arsenal, he was fairly injury free. But we all know it just takes that one little knock, really. Loaning him for the rest of the season might be smart because you get a loan fee, but you're loaning out a player with a couple of months left. It's just going to make more people give him a contract. And a buyback clause, you can't put a buyback clause right now because we're in no position. I think the buyback thing is naive. It's not Football Manager. It's not going to happen. Until he signs a new deal, you can't do any of that, really. So we've shot ourselves firmly in the foot there. Firmly. Bro, I don't know why they're doing that. But big them up, man. Big up YouTube regardless. Isn't his dad a coach at Arsenal, a goalkeeping coach at Arsenal? I could be wrong. Why not, man? Listen, my guy, from a heart point of view, all right, you're not a member no more. Big up you. From a heart perspective point of view, I would take Wilshere, but when I use my brain, it don't make sense, man. And fundamentally, he always gets my support, like you said there. But yeah, man, I'm gonna get out of it. There isn't more to say, really, for an hour and 11 minutes. I'm back later. Please check out the pinned message. Please make sure you hit the like button. People, DG, I'm out. God bless, man.